A good lower body exercise you can do is the squat. So I'm going to show you about 4 variations of squat exercises that you can do. One being what we call a sit to stand. So you would take a chair or even your sofa at your house, and you're going to stand right in front of it. You're going to sit down controlled, sit down on the chair or the sofa, and then stand back up. If you need to use your hands to help yourself back up, that is totally fine. Whatever feels comfortable to you. Okay, if you don't need the chair or the couch, you can move that out of the way. The other variation that we'll go through is if you used your kitchen counter or sink at home, if you just wanted to do a squat but you wanted something to hold on to, you could hold on to something sturdy like the counter, do the squat just to make sure you have some support, and then stand back up. When you're squatting down, you want to try to get to about the point where your knees are bent at about a 90-degree angle, but again, depends how comfortable that is for you. Okay, if you don't need the support and you just want to use the space that you have at your house, you could do a body weight squat where you're not holding on to anything, you're not holding any weights, and you're just going to place your feet about shoulder width apart, toes facing forward or slightly angled outward, and you're going to squat down and stand back up. Sometimes people find it comfortable to place their hands forward when they're squatting to help sort of counter their weight. So you could put your hands out in front of you. That helps you not fall backwards. To do a bridge, you're going to get down on the floor, preferably one that's either carpeted or you have a yoga mat just to make it a little bit softer. Okay, so you're going to lie back and bend your legs up so that your feet are underneath you. And you want to make sure to push through your heels while you're doing this exercise. That doesn't necessarily mean your toes have to be off the ground, but just make sure your heels don't leave the surface when you're doing this bridge. So what a bridge means is that you're going to lift your hips up off the table. So first you want to rock your hips or your pelvis backwards to flatten your lower back out, and then push through your heels and lift up. Pause, and then return back to the floor. All right, to do a lunge, there are again a couple variations that we can go through. Probably the easiest would be what we call a split squat, or basically it just means a lunge in place. So if you need to, you could use something for support when you do that. If you're using a chair or your counter, you're gonna wanna put your opposite leg forward in that lunge position. You're gonna have to find what's comfortable for you about how far you step apart. What you're gonna do is basically squat down, lower your back knee towards the floor, going down as far as comfortable, possibly tap the floor, and then stand back up. One of the things you want to make sure you're doing is driving through that front leg heel. So you don't want your heel to come up off the ground while you're doing this. And then you would switch sides and turn the other way to do the other way. If you don't need support and you don't need to hold on to the chair, you could do a forward lunge where you're going to stand in place, step forward, lunge, and step back to where you started. And you can alternate legs, or do each leg several times and then switch to the other side. To hit your glutes a little bit more, one of the things you're gonna do, you could do a backwards lunge where instead of stepping forward, you're stepping backwards, and it's the same thing, except you're going backwards stepping instead of forward. Again, alternating legs. And then you could do a lateral lunge where you're going sideways instead of forward and back, standing in place. Again, you could alternate, so you will step to your left, toes facing forward, lunge down, come back to where you started, and then you would go the other way. To do a step up, if you don't have a step like we have here and you do have a staircase at home, you could use that. I typically recommend using the bottom stair of the staircase just to prevent any accidents. So we're gonna do a forward step up. So again, you can alternate legs or do the same leg multiple times and then switch. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna step up onto the step, bring both feet together, and then step back down, okay? To make that just a little bit harder, you could not put that second foot down on the step when you step up. So that would look something like this. Step up, lift the other leg, and then return it to the ground. That's gonna challenge your balance quite a bit more. So again, step up, lift the other leg, and set your foot down. Step-ups are gonna challenge your quads and your glutes quite a bit. If you wanna hit your glutes, your lateral glute muscles on the side of your hip a little bit more, you could do a step-up sideways, okay? So again, bottom step of your staircase, step up onto the step and leave yourself room for your other foot. Raise yourself up and slowly lower yourself back down. Again, if you wanted to challenge your balance a little bit more, you could step up and not put that second foot down. So step up, lift the other leg, and then set it back down to the ground. One thing that I want to point out when you are doing step-ups or a stepping exercise is to make sure the leg that you're going up with is the one that's doing the work, okay? So I'm not pushing myself off with the bottom leg, I'm lifting myself with the leg that I'm stepping up on, and then I'm setting myself down, controlling that with that leg, not dropping down onto my opposite side, okay?